What's up, everyone? And today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Melodious deck. Now, Melodious is kind of like a songstress deck, if that makes any sense. It's a music themed deck, kind of like Trickstars. And, well, let's get right into the deck profile. First off, I run 3 Aria, the Melodious Diva. Aria, when the special summon card is on the field, most monsters you control cannot be targeted by card effects or be destroyed by battle. So it's a little bit of protection, and also it's a Melodious monster to summon. I also run 3 Cannon. Cannon, if you control a Melodious monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Cannon once per turn this way, and once per turn you can target one Melodious monster you control, change its battle position. I also run 3 Sonata. Sonata, if you control a Melodious monster, you can special summon this card from the hand. And while this card is special summon on the field, all fairy type monsters you control gain power and attack and defense. So both Cannon and Sonata are essentially free summons. I run the 1 Solo. Solo is like Cannon and Sonata, that they're a free summon. However, you must control no monsters in order to activate this effect. I also run 3 Serenade, the Melodious Diva. Serenade can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a fairy type monster, and after this card is special summoned to your side of the field, you can normal summon 1 Melodious monster in addition to your normal summon. So it's a double summon, essentially. I also run the 1 Mozarta, the Melodious Maestria. Once per turn, you special summon 1 light fairy type monster from your hand. Although the one downside is you cannot special summon other monsters this turn except light, which can kind of restrict you a bit, because that means you can't go into stuff like Krashi, Populoosa, Axis Code, Abyss Faller. So it definitely does kind of restrict you a little bit. Unfortunately, the Link 2 does as well. Also run 3 Soprano. Now, Soprano, I'd probably say is one of the best cards in this deck. When this card is special summon, you can target a Melodious monster in your graveyard, add to your hand, and once per turn, you can fusion summon 1 Melodious fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters you control as fusion material, including this card. So it's you can add one of your Melodious back to your hand and fusion summon as well. And that really works well with Sonata and Cannon, because let's say Sonata and Cannon are in the grave and you haven't used their effects, you can add it back, then special summon them to the field. I also run 3 Score. Score is kind of like a hand trap for Melodious. During damage calculation and either player's turn, if a Melodious monster control battles an opponent's monster, you send this card from your hand to the graveyard, change that opponent's monster attack and defense to 0 until the end of this turn. So this can be a little bit of disruption. But just to make sure, I also run 3 Ash and 2 Nibiru to round out the monsters. Next, I run 3 First Movement Solo. Unfortunately, I do not have the First Movement Solo. I actually thought I did, but apparently I did not. Now, First Movement Solo, if you control no monsters, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Melodious monster from your hand or deck. Although, the one downside is you cannot special summon a monster during the turn you activate this card, except Melodious monster. So, I've been kind of debating on this one, because, yes, it's got a really good effect to special summon Melodious monster from the deck. However, it has a very bad cost to where you can only use Melodious monsters for the rest. Summon Melodious monsters for the rest of the turn. So, no Appaloosa, no Abyss Dweller. You literally just gotta use the fusions and the Melodious thing too. And they're not really strong enough on their own, unfortunately. Also run 3 Ostinato. Ostinato, if you control monsters, fusion summon Melodious fusion monster from your extra deck using 2 monsters from your hand and or deck as fusion material. And in the end phase of the turn, destroy that fusion monster summoned by this effect. And if you do all the fusion materials that were used for its fusion summon, you can special summon all of them, which is pretty cool. I also run 3 Celestial Transformation. Celestial Transformation, you can special summon a fairy type monster from your hand. That monster's attack gets halved and is destroyed during the end phase. Personally, I like this one better than Valhalla, because Valhalla, you have to control no monsters to activate this effect. This you can control however many you want. But I still do run the 1 Valhalla, Hall of the Fallen. I cut it down to, originally I had it at 2, but I cut it down to 1 because for some reason, I kept opening it. I'm like, I don't really want to see, I'd rather see Celestial Transformation. So I end up just cutting it down to 1. Also run 3 Pot of Prosperity, because you need some draw power in this deck. This deck has no built-in draw power, and you do have a few extra deck cards you can use, especially if you use the First Movement Solo. You could probably send half your extra deck if you can't want to be able to use it. Also run the 1 Monster Reborn, always a good card, and the 1 Double or Nothing to kind of help close games out. Moving on to the extra deck. I run 3 Shuberetta, the Melodious Maestria. Shuberetta, during either player's turn, you can target up to 3 cards in any player's graveyard banish them. And if you do, this card gains 200 attack for each. So this one's very good at definitely disrupting your opponent. So it's kind of like a Call by the Grave, essentially, for decks that really rely on the grave and use it as like a second deck, for example. This could really kind of hurt that deck. I also run 2 Bloom Diva, the Melodious Choir. Choir must be fusion summoned using a Melodious Maestro. You cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and you take no battle damage from attacks from this card. If this card battles a special summon monster, after damage calculation, you can inflict damage to your opponents equal to the difference between the original attack of the opponent's monster. And if you do, destroy that opponent's monster. I also run 2 Bloom Harmonist. Harmonist, if this card is linked, someone can discard 1 card. Special summon 2 Melodious monsters with different levels from your deck. 2 zones this card points to. However, you can also special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect except Melodious monsters. So, this card is a really good card, kind of like Solo, but it also has that cost of locking you into Melodious. I also run 1 Cross Sheep because you always want to run Cross Sheep in any fusion-based deck. I do run a small IP package with Masquerena, Phoenix, and Unicore. I run Opolos and Access Code Talker for my Link 4s. I run the 1 Utopia and Utopia Double. Sometimes you're going to need this to kind of like help close out games. And also Abyss Dweller, because again, it hurts decks that use the Grave as a second deck. That's going to be all for this deck profile. Let me know, what do you think of Melodious? Do you think it has potential? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.